If you asked anyone in the tech industry in 2023 what the AI crisis would look like, they probably would have described a Terminator-style scenario. A rogue, superintelligent seizing control of the nuclear codes. They were wrong. The crisis isn't about an AI becoming too smart. It's about us realizing we had absolutely no idea how the machine was thinking, even as we handed it the keys to our reality. The year 2025 will go down in history as the moment the black box, the opaque, impenetrable core of deep learning models, where it stopped being a theoretical problem for computer scientists and started being a lived reality for all of us. It was the year of Slop, Merriam-Webster's word of the year, where the internet effectively drowned in low-effort synthetic noise. The mechanisms we use to determine truth, like video evidence, official documents, the written word, were all compromised by a technology that mimics the texture of reality without understanding the substance. We saw model collapse, where AI began to eat its own tail, training on its own output until it devolved into gibberish. This is the story of the AI black box crisis. Let's get spooky. Hey, spooky people, it's your best friend Kenny, and we are back with another disturbing story. Before we get to today's story, make sure that you like and share this video, and please leave a comment for the algorithm. Thank you. To understand why 2025 felt like a collective hallucination, we have to look under the hood of the machines driving our culture. Or we have to admit that looking under the hood doesn't actually show us anything we understand. The core of the crisis lies in the architecture of deep learning itself. These systems, large language models or LLMs, and generative image diffusers are not programmed in a traditional sense. They are trained. They adjust billions of parameters to minimize error in predicting the next token in a sequence. The resulting web of connections is a high-dimensional mathematical object that defies human intuition. For years, we operated under the black box metaphor. Data goes in, magic happens, and an answer comes out. In 2025, the industry attempted to break this box open with a field called mechanistic interpretability. Labs like Anthropic and OpenAI poured millions into building microscopes for neural networks, hoping to find clear, readable circuits of reasoning. They found the opposite. The theory is simple. If we can decompose the messy activations of a neural network into a dictionary of features, we can read the mind of AI. We hope to find monosemantic neurons, like one neuron that means dog and another that means traffic light. Instead, researchers hit a wall. A landmark thesis from MIT in 2025 described the phenomenon termed dark matter. They discovered that a significant fraction of the model's internal activity, the activations, could not be reconstructed by these autoencoders. This dark matter represented the alien intuition of the model. It contains the logic that allows the AI to function, but it exists in a mathematical space that has no corresponding concept in human language. Furthermore, the features we could see were rarely clean. We found that the neurons are polysemantic, meaning that a single neuron might fire for cats, finance, and 17th century architecture simultaneously. This superposition of concepts means that the AI is thinking in a way that it is fundamentally inextricably tangled. When we try to pull one thread, we end up pulling 10 others we didn't intend to touch. This failure led to what researchers call the interpretability illusion. We see the AI produce a logical chain of thought, and we assume this text output reflects its internal processing. It does not. The MIT research showed that the chain of thought is often a post hoc rationalization generated for the user, while the actual decision-making happens in that opaque dark matter. We realized we weren't communicating with the digital brain we built. We were communicating with something that had learned to wear a human mask, and the mask was slipping. While we struggled to understand the internal mechanics, the external environment, like the data, was collapsing. This phenomenon, known as model collapse, moved from a theoretical paper to a reality. Model collapse occurs when generative AI models are trained on data generated by previous generations' AI. It is a form of digital inbreeding. The internet filled with AI-generated texts and images. Slop, web scrapers, gathered this synthetic data to train the next iterations of models like ChatGPT-5. The research identified two distinct stages of this collapse. Early model collapse, where the model loses the tails of the distribution. It stops producing nuanced or eccentric outputs. It converts on the average. Everything starts to sound the same. Diversity vanishes. The model becomes a stereotype engine. And late model collapse. As the cycle continues, the model loses its grip on reality entirely. It begins to confuse distinct concepts, leading to outputs that are structurally sound but semantically gibberish. This is like the mad cow disease of AI. A widely cited 2025 report confirmed that once a model has been poisoned by synthetic data, it is incredibly difficult to detox it. This created a panic in the industry. Companies like Google and OpenAI began scrambling for uncontaminated human data, leading to aggressive licensing deals with publishers and a premium on pre-2023 internet archives. And this is ironic. The very companies flooding the world with AI content were desperate to avoid consuming it. They knew better than anyone that their product was toxic to its future development. AI hallucinations stopped being a cute quirk of chatbots and became a serious classification of misinformation. Research published in the Misinformation Review in 2025 clarified that hallucinations are not errors in the traditional software sense. They are properties of the system architecture. The AI has no concept of truth. It only has a concept of probability. If a falsehood is statistically likely to follow a prompt, the AI will generate it with the same confidence as a verified fact. This was beautifully illustrated by the Google Idioms incident. Google's AI overview feature began inventing idioms that didn't exist but sounded like they should. Users were told that two buses going in the wrong direction is better than one going the right way. While it's funny, it revealed the system's total detachment from grounding, from reality. It was simulating the style of wisdom without substance. A more chilling discovery came from Stanford University in late 2025. Their study on knowledge and belief evaluation found that AI systems struggle to distinguish between truth and human belief. If a large portion of the internet believes a misconception, the AI encodes this not as a belief held by some, but as a probabilistic reality. The study showed that even the most advanced models would reinforce false beliefs if the user prompted them in a way that aligned with those misconceptions. The AI is a mirror, reflecting our own cognitive distortions back at us, amplified by the authority of a machine. Scholars adopted the Swiss cheese model to explain how these hallucinations slip through. It's not one failure, but a series of aligned holes, opaque training data, probabilistic decoding, and the lack of an explicit truth intent. We are building systems that are sociopathic by design, not because they want to hurt us, but because they don't care if they're right. The technical failures of AI manifested culturally as slop. While Merriam-Webster selected slop as the word of the year for 2025, it was acknowledging a fundamental shift in the texture of the internet. Slop refers to the massive amount of low-quality AI-generated content, text, images, and video that is produced for engagement farming rather than human utility. It's the uncanny valley of content. It looks real at a glance, but falls apart under scrutiny. It's the zombie internet. The aesthetic of slop is specific. The hyper-smooth skin of AI-generated people, the overly enthusiastic LinkedIn posts written by ChatGPT, the YouTube thumbnails with slightly too many fingers. It's content stripped of intent or care. The slop was radicalizing. It was providing visual evidence for events that never occurred, feeding the confirmation bias of millions. The environment created a profound vibe shift. The optimism of the early 2020s tech boom curdled into a paranoid, defensive posture. People began to feel the blur, a sense that the boundaries between online and offline, real and fake, work and leisure were dissolving. In response, we saw a retreat to human safe spaces. Communities began gating themselves, requiring proof of humanity to enter. The open web, which was once a place for connection, became a dark forest where every interaction was suspected of being a bot. Counterfeit people are predators swimming in the internet. AI is allowing for the creation of entities that can hijack our empathy. And it's come true with devastating financial consequences. An example of the new type of crime was the Arup deepfake scam. In early 2024, the Hong Kong office of the engineering giant Arup was targeted. An employee received an email from the UK-based CFO regarding a secret transition. It was suspicious, so the employee requested a video call. He joined the call to find not just the CFO, but several other colleagues, all people he recognized. They looked real. They sounded real. They reacted to him in real time, but they were all deep fakes. The employee was the only human on the conference call. Convinced by his eyes and ears, he transferred $25 million to the fraudsters. The incident shattered the corporate world's reliance on video verification. If you can't trust a live video of your boss, Who can you trust? On the lower end of the economic scale are the Yahoo boys and other criminal syndicates using industrialized sextortion. Using real-time face swapping and voice cloning tools, they create artificial patriots and romantic partners to target widows and vulnerable individuals. The Yahoo boys allegedly began using AI-generated news videos to blackmail victims, creating fake news reports about the victims' alleged crimes to extort payment. This weaponization of slop turned the tools of creation into tools of terror. As the lines between real and fake blurred, the tech industry offered a solution: watermarking. We were promised invisible digital stamps that would prove an image was AI generated. And quickly, that promise was broken. Google championed SynthID, a watermarking technology embedded directly into the pixels of images generated by its models. They claimed it was robust. However, the open source community treated this as a challenge. A tool called Unmarker appeared on GitHub, utilizing diffusion attacks to scrub the watermark. Independent research confirmed Unmarker had a 79% success rate in removing SynthID without destroying the image. Because SynthID is part of the image structure, not an overlay, removing it often requires redreaming the image slightly, a task AI is perfectly suited for. The industry standard, C2PA, the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity, relied on cryptographic metadata to create a chain of custody. It was secure in theory, but failed in practice because of the ecosystems. Social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram compress images upon upload in order to save bandwidth. This compression routinely strips metadata. Research showed that simply uploading a C2PA signed image to a social network was enough to break the chain. The provenance lasted only as long as the file stayed on your hard drive. The arms race between detection and evasion was decisively won by the evaders in 2025. Governments tried to catch up. They wrote laws, they issued fines, they formed committees, but they were regulating 2023 technology in a 2025 world. The EU AI Act was meant to be the global gold standard. Its prohibitions on unacceptable risk AI kicked in fully in February 2025, and rules for general purpose AI followed in August. But enforcement was a game of whack-a-mole. While the Dutch regulator fined Clearview AI a massive 30.5 million euros for its illegal facial recognition database, the major US labs like OpenAI and Google operated in a gray zone, negotiating codes of practice that allowed them to self-regulate to a degree. The act was heavy on bureaucracy, but light on the ability to stop the threats like slop and hallucinations. In the US, the FTC rolled out its impersonation rule in late 2025, targeting deepfake scams. It allowed them to go after companies providing the tools for fraud. But in an era of open source AI, the provider is often just a dump site for code, and you can't sue code. As we look back at the AI black box reality crisis, the most frightening realization is that the machines aren't malfunctioning. They're functioning exactly as designed, and we are the ones that are malfunctioning. We built systems that prioritize probability over truth, and we were surprised when they hallucinated. We built systems that can mimic human connection, and we were surprised when they became fake people. The black box is no longer a technical term for a neural network. It's the condition of our society. We are living inside the black box now. The dark matter of the AI is influencing our elections, our finances, and our perception of reality. Our challenge will be to survive inside the black box without losing our grip on what it means to be human, truthful, and real. The vibe shift is complete. The lights are out. We are in the dark, and the machine is still dreaming. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, The Spooky Lawyer. Make sure that you like and share this video. Follow me on Blue Sky, Twitter, and TikTok. My username is The Spooky Lawyer. If there is a spooky or disturbing story you'd like me to cover, leave a comment and tell me about it. Or send me an email. My email address is thespookylawyer@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a link in the description of this video and in my bio to buy me a coffee, so you can buy me a coffee. Or you can become a member of this channel. For the $1.99 tier, you can get access to exclusive content, including exclusive videos, as well as access to my videos before they go public. I appreciate you considering this. You can also support me by continuing to like, share, and watch my videos. And I do appreciate that you watch my videos. And please stay spooky.